Well, I'm excited to have you on with us today because I'm so curious to know your point of view from the show as well. Just because it's such a good one, and for a while
Thanks.
we weren't able to talk to anybody on the show. We had our your wonderful food stylists come on talk to us about that whole thing. But I'm so curious to know, like you must have some such wonderful discussions about what we're seeing here, and it needs to be discussed. So now we can finally do this, right?
Man, yeah, that's it's exciting that I think if you're referring to the strike, yeah, it was kind of like a
Yeah.
nutty experience there with not being able to promote the show, at least as far as the actors are concerned, and
Mhm.
anybody who's involved on the writing for a while. So it was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it was done for the right reasons, and I think they're all pleased with the outcome. So I'm happy to, dude, I'm happy to be talking to anybody. For me, this is like a gift, and to be part of this kind of show at the level in which they made it is always I'm very aware of how lucky I am.
Oh yeah. And did you have a lot of discussions about like the content and what people are getting into? Because there's a lot being said here, which is really, really cool and something interesting to work on. And I don't know, that might change the craft or where you're going a little bit with this as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, this show was Lessons in Chemistry kind of came about as a call that that came to the agent and to my agent Bradley Rainey, and he's like super awesome. So um and then they were interested, and I honestly, man, I think what gave me the work was the Queen's Gambit. I mean, the Queen's Gambit kind of opened just about every possible door anybody could ever hope to get, and because it was so big, it was such a big show. And so I been fortunate that I worked on a bunch of shows that had different music afterwards, but the closest, I guess, you could say they're cousins or related stylistically,
Mhm.
musically speaking, and they were really looking for someone to score the story because I think the lead character played by Brie Larson, Elizabeth Zott, has a very similar thing to the character that was played by Anya Taylor-Joy in The Queen's Gambit. They're kind of
Mhm.
unlikable on paper. They're people that you shouldn't like, when you see them and you meet them, but they have so many layers that you find out there's reasons for them to be the way they are. And
Mhm.
so kind of that was sort of the point of entry for this. So, but for now that's a start, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Well, how much of the just show did you get to see? Did you get to see scenes beforehand, or did you just get a script? Like, where were you brought in the process?
No, I think we were brought into the process kind of somewhere. It was pretty well along because they sent me like the turnaround for this show was really fast. It was really short. And I came in as they were getting pre-production almost done. They were kind of getting into production. And what they had was a summary of the idea. So I immediately read the novel, the amazing novel by Bonnie Garmus. And then I went straight to kind of thinking of ideas. But then it wasn't until I started getting assemblies. So just to give you a sense of the timing, the director of the first two shows was Sarah Dina Smith. I think she had directed a third episode as well. I'm not sure. But she was directing those two. Lee Eisenberg was writing, and while she was finishing the first two episodes, he was writing the last few episodes. So he was still writing, and the machine was going. So he was like MIA for a few weeks, and the first idea that she had was kind of try not to do any of the Queen's Gambit stuff, but really try to do something completely left of center or north of center or south or right, or I don't even care, but
Mhm.
like not the thing that was expected. And she wanted to do something that was really synth based and a completely different idea because it was like, what if a biogenesis was scored? Because that's the thing that Elizabeth Zott, its characters invested in, and Calvin Evans, they want to understand the meaning of life and the origins of life, and what would that sound like musically. So she started sending me things like Boards of Canada, Aphex Twin, all kinds of really out there playlists, unexpected music. And I started writing stuff that was in that style. But by the time Lee came back, we realized it was too far out. So we found a middle ground. And what's great about this process is that when you bring what you bring and they kind of come back with something different, you end up meeting somewhere in the middle and or further towards
Hmm.
them, ideally, whatever makes them happy, right? But when you find that place to meet, it's always interesting because it's not what I would have done had nobody given me feedback. It would have just been what I did. So it's a case where 1 and 1 is 3. And we came up with something really, 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 I think, strong for the story, but ultimately they were happy with, which is why I do what I do to make them happy, it's a service industry.
Yeah, absolutely. What was that first piece of music that you heard that you just kind of captured your imagination in a movie or a TV show that made you think, ooh, or maybe was that a spark initially to make you want to do this?
Oh, dude. I mean, I was always into Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams
Yeah.
as a kid, but I grew up in Central America.
Hmm.
And I read that you interviewed
Hmm.
Ozzy Osbourne. Did you?
I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice,
Absolutely.
man. I know this is my interview, but bro, how'd it
No,
go?
no, yeah. Oh,
How
amazing.
cohesive was it?
It was great. He was exactly the Ozzy that you wanted him to be. Just kind of his memory of Texas was, and where I am, yeah, his memory of Texas was
Yeah.
stopping to pee on the side of the road and getting arrested. So like that was his entire, memory of being here. It just, but his storytelling was just wonderful. Like the audio, I will keep forever. It's just so
Oh
cool.
man, that's gotta be the best, man. I was the reason why I asked because you asked me what got me into this, but I was in Panama and my brother went on a Christian retreat. He came back with Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a
Yeah.
Madman on cassette and with a cross
Hmm.
upside down drawn on the thing. So I was like, that's a really good Christian retreat. So he came back with this and it was like, and then he played Revelation Mother Earth for me. And I remember like when the guitar solo came in, Randy Rhoads, it was like it was
Hmm.
like I just realized I was smiling by the end of the solo, and I didn't know I was smiling. And that moment was like really one of the most cathartic moments where I started thinking, I really want to do this music thing, And you asked me
Yeah.
what the spark is, and I read that you interviewed Ozzy. I was like, oh man, he
Yeah.
interviewed the greatest. And that's the thing about Ozzy's music is like he has the symbol, he's holding the cross and the upside down cross and
Oh
Diary of a
yeah.
Madman, but at the same time, the message of those songs is amazing.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
got to believe in yourself or no one will believe in you. Like all these incredible lyrics, Crazy Train and stuff like songs like that, like even off the first Blizzard record, the message is always a hopeful one. He'll do the,
Oh
little
yeah.
dolls and all these other things. But anyways, I'm going off because I always like I'm just like a
No, no,
fan of
no.
it,
It's great.
obviously. So
Yeah.
that's
Did you
the
ever
answer.
figure out how to
Ozzy
play?
Osbourne or Randy Rhoads. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so what I did is that when I was I started learning guitar, and then I was doing it by year. We moved back to Costa Rica, and then we moved to Miami when I was 14. And then when I was 14, I moved. I showed up in January of eighth grade. So who's going to talk to you? Nobody. But for me, it was like perfect because I would go home and then I'd spend hours trying to learn the songs and play guitar. So I learned it. And I told myself the day I can play that solo, I'm going to be an amazing musician. I'm going to
Yeah.
be awesome. And I would just used to record it on cassette and I would record the solo, like I would play the solo on move the needle on the record. And then I'd actually start playing. And I'd study the tape. You know what I mean? Study the performance. And I go, okay, I got to change that. That's not right. That note's not right. Years. And then by the time I was like 15 or something, I recorded it and I nailed the solo, Revelation Mother Earth, which is a
Nice.
hard solo, dude. That's like like
Yeah. Very hard.
that whole classical thing. And I play, and then the weirdest thing came over me. It was like this achievement, like whatever a level reached or whatever, like when you're playing a video
Hmm.
game, and then it was kind of like this feeling of I didn't make it, like I didn't make that music. Like it wasn't mine truly because
Hmm.
somebody else wrote it. And that kind of started this whole like journey of wanting to write music.
Hmm.
It was really that moment where I kind of could play it, but I didn't do it. So then I formed a band with my brother, who was 4 years older
Yeah.
than me then, and he still is now. but we were like playing together. We played in cover bands and we started writing original music. And that's sort of what led to it eventually getting all serious with the classical stuff and then getting to write this stuff. But that was the spark. It pretty much clearly was Randy Rhoads' solo for Revelation
Yeah.
Mother Earth. So
Wow.
it's not,
I love that.
but
That's
it
so
was gold.
cool.
I mean, no, thanks for even the fact that you have any reference or knowledge of this, because mostly it's like Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams, of course, and it was E.T. and
Right.
Poltergeist. But the thing was that solo, and it was like that. That was a journey, man. And
Oh
that
yeah.
was screwed after that. Screwed after that
Yeah.
because
I
my
tried
dad
to
wanted
play
me to
D.
be an accountant. Wait, what? Oh, you
Yeah.
played D? Dun, dun,
I
dun, dun,
tried to.
dun.
I'm yeah.
Well, dude,
And
okay,
that's
so
when I figured out that I would not be the great guitar player that he was.
yeah, well, the truth is now, the older I get, the better I used to be, you know. So I'm not definitely
Mhm.
not a good player now. I sound good on the records I play on for the soundtrack stuff because I edit myself to sound really good. Like, and I'll do it like put it this way, like since you know about this, like I'll record, let's say, a 4 chord progression that goes chord, 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 chord,
Mhm.
right? On one track, I'll record chord,
Mhm.
chord, and then on another track it'll be chord, chord. And then when I put it together, it's like chord, 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 chord. But I can't possibly in real time do that, you know? So I'll edit
Mhm.
myself to sound good into what I ideally want to do. But in real time, dude, I just suck now. Like I'd be a hack. I'd be the guy at Guitar Center. You know what I mean? When you walk in and just like
Oh
whipping out
no,
Stairway to Heaven. Yes,
not that
yes,
guy.
that's where I'm at now.
No.
Nope. That's why I never play publicly. Like I didn't do any live performing. I have no interest in it. I used to love it, dude. I'm sure. So you were in bands and stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Did you
for sure.
play?
And yeah.
What were you
Oh
playing? What
yeah,
were you
I
playing?
played like what kind of guitar?
What kind of
Oh
music?
yeah,
What were you doing?
it's like indie rock music, and there's some stuff on Apple Music and stuff out there now. But I played a
Dude, hold on. Let me
Telecaster and a
look it up,
Strat,
bro.
and yeah.
Hold. But were you doing
All
covers as
right.
well before? Let me go to the original stuff. What's the name of the
No,
band? Go.
I never did covers. The band was called the Far Star, Farstar, one word.
So you were too good for covers. Look at you. The
I just didn't have the
that's
patience to learn them.
Really? Dude, that's so funny,
Yeah,
man, because I was like covers. Dude, I played everything in the 80s, man. We used to play like all the high school senior proms and stuff in
yeah,
Miami. Like the Coral Gables senior prom, Lourdes senior prom, all these high schools. And we were making money, dude, back then. And then it was like we went
yeah.
original and no one paid us anything because
Ah,
the life of
I
indie
love that.
bands. Yeah.
I
Wait, I'm
still
looking
don't
at the
really
Far
know any
Star. And
covers. Yeah,
I'm not getting any. I'm looking at right now for the Far Star, and I don't see anything.
it's
I'm totally
THE and
derailing your
then
interview, sir.
no, it's all right.
Oh,
FARSTAR.
Far.
Yeah, it
Ah,
should be
okay,
home.
the Far Star. Okay, yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it was two words, like the
yeah,
Far Star, 3 words. Okay, I'm
yeah.
I'm here now.
Hmm.
Oh, this is great. It all boils down to speed. What's your like one track? And I won't listen to it now. I'll listen to it after. But what's the track?
That's a good question. Oh gosh.
The band with the
Hmm.
getaway face, waking up at
Yeah,
2:15, the healing kiss of a blowtorch. It all boils down to speed.
I like a healing kiss of a blowtorch.
3:33. That's a short one. I
Yeah,
like it because I'm seeing you're
yeah,
doing some epic stuff. There's a 6-minute tune, dude.
yeah,
All right, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna save this right now in real time because or else.
yeah. Oh, that's great. I love it.
No, it's cool, bro, because we all have this start. We all kind of do, oh, blah blah blah. But then it all starts somewhere, and like the band I was in was called Zoo Story. Not
Yeah,
in the 80s. The band we did not have a cool name like that. Our band in the 80s
right.
was called Destiny.
I like it. Well, this is
It's an
early
80s band name.
2000s, so
Oh,
this
okay,
is
yeah,
early
yeah.
2000s, so we did what we
That's a cool
could.
proper name. That's a proper name, man. No, really cool.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so
like it.
I have my work cut out for me here. Oh, wait, sorry. So
Yeah.
let's professional conversation. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes. So now, of course, people look up to what you do, and they hear these songs and they hear the music and they think, that's what I want to do. And so, what kind of advice do you give
Avoid sucking.
them?
That's the only reason I've gotten higher is like wherever suck is, I'm like tiptoeing right around it as much as possible. And, but I no, honestly, man, like I got lucky. I think there's like the persistence and opportunity and all those things that you've probably heard 1,000 times, but, and it's sort of true because, the band I was in, we got signed in 2000 and we got dropped in 2003. And then I had like a year of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then, um, and then it was like I made a decision to make money making music only because I was doing websites. I was like driving bands gear. I was like actually I drove gear for a train, like from a hotel
Wow.
from the airport. I picked up on a U-Haul with my wife. We went and picked up the gear like at 4:30 in the morning or whatever. Drove all the way to San Diego and then dropped it off at a pharmaceutical gig they had. And I was just like I was kind of lost for a good year there after the band got dropped. And then I made a decision to stop making websites, stop doing all these kind of gigs and just make music, making money and teaching. However it was, I could be close to music. So teaching became important. And I think um, just committing to the thing you love, no matter what outcome you think it's going to be, because I'm lucky to be here talking to you. But the truth is, like, there was a lot of years in my 30s where I thought it was going to be just sort of like doing what I was going to teach and I was happy. I was happy to have made a decision that was that important to me, that it wasn't going to be anything but music. I don't care what kind of lifestyle I lead. If I can pay rent and eat, I'll be the happiest dude in the world. So that was, and then things kind of, a lot of luck happened because among my students was Scott Frank, who ended up being the guy who did Queen's Gambit and Godless and all these other things. So I think,
Wow.
but follow your gut, trust your heart, and do the thing you love with the dream. You can always dream, but the expectation should be just like, are you happy today? You woke up, you can breathe, and you're doing this thing you love, and you're changing somebody's life because that's what teaching is. You're sharing all your mistakes with someone, and you want it to be better. That's why I still teach, dude. I haven't quit teaching. I love it, and
Oh, that's
um, and it's important, man. It's important. So, anyways, I
yeah.
don't know if that's even advice, but
No, no,
whatever.
it's very solid advice. My co-host Drew Pearson is one of our great Dallas Cowboys. Caught the original Hail Mary, went into the Hall of Fame. We're so proud of him, and we always love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career we just had to go for it and it worked out for you. I'm so curious to know what that was for you.
Well, dude, it was I was playing for Dallas, and I remember. And I'm just kidding. No, so it was like no, no. It was like, wait, what? No, it was for a walk among the tombstones. Regarding this career specifically, I had done an entire pass of the score for a walk among the tombstones, and I got really lucky. I felt very lucky to do that. And all of a sudden, I got a call from Scott saying, "Listen, we're gonna recut the movie, and we're gonna have to rescore the whole thing, and I need a new main title. And can you can you provide that in 2 days?" And I said, "Sure, no problem." But those 48 hours were like the worst
Oh
because I
gosh.
called my agent. It was Bradley worked with Amos Newman, and Amos Newman was my agent at the time, and Amos is doing some other stuff now. But in Endeavor, whatever. But the point is, like, I called them and I said, "Look, they're asking me to rewrite this. They had let go of an editor for the movie," and he goes, "Oh man, well, chances are it's over." But look, it doesn't mean it's not personal. You have to know it's not personal. If it doesn't work out, it's just because they're probably having a rethink of the story. So you just have to expect to. And I called somebody else and they're like, "Ooh, dude, if you're gonna, chances are it's not gonna work. They're gonna probably have to go another direction altogether." And those 48 hours were the worst. Like I was like, it was literally like hell on earth kind of feeling because I didn't sleep. I was in front of the computer trying to come up with this. And the music that came out was the main title for A Walk Among the Tombstones. And I sent it to him and he said, "Nah, I like it. I'm going to send it to the producers, see what they say." And they're like, "We like it." And he goes, "Okay, so can you do it in a month?" And I go, "Absolutely, no problem." And you go back to that was the ultimate Hail Mary experience because I had resigned myself to tell my students at the Frost School where I'm at, to tell them, you know, I got to score like a Liam Neeson movie, and I got to score a scene where he punches people, and like Liam Neeson punching anybody's kind of cool. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean, at the time of Taken, it was during that time when I made this, like 10 years ago. And I had that already, that reel playing in my head. You know, look, I got to work on a Hollywood movie. It never happened. I got replaced, but I did it. And that's where I was at. But I was able, it was a Hail Mary. So that's a long version of that. Sorry. But I just realized that I was talking too
No,
much.
no, that's
I'll
great.
shut up.
Part of that, no, 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 no. Part of that is that sort of success mindset that you have to put yourself in, whether you're feeling it or not, because us creative types are notoriously hard on ourselves. So is there something that you always kind of keep in mind that kind of keeps you on that right path, even when things get tough or you get stuck, or maybe that certain chord or note or whatever is not working?
I think it's getting humbled enough times. Like this is a very tough job. You talk about, an experience like Lessons in Chemistry was great. There's a show coming out now next year, I think in January on Netflix. It's called Griselda, and that was like a unicorn experience. It was amazing. And
Mhm.
but I've been also let go of shows. I've worked on series that don't work. I've gotten replaced on like this is just part of the job. And those moments are super humbling because they're personal, even though it's about the work and you know that they're talking about this thing that you're doing that they don't like, you know, but it always hurts, it's like, God, because you really want to get it right for them. You want to do right by them and by the story. And uh, but when those moments happen, it's always good because I think it kind of, first of all, fuels you. I've always been like it's all about getting up. It's all about finding the grit when things are definitely going south. Of how can I reframe this situation so I can step through it and get through it as opposed to be in it because we all go through it. Everybody has their own in their own life. It's not this music thing is like a version of it, but it happens at work and a regular, kind of what people consider regular jobs. In anybody's employment, there's always these sort of situations where you have to kind of overcome something. And so I just definitely don't. And I live in Miami, so I'm removed a lot of far from being buying into the persona that you're perceived as or whatever, I do look at it as a job. I don't see it as I'm an artist or any of that. I I think art is maybe born when all the elements come together. Like the editing's great, the acting's great, the lighting's great, the costume design is great, the cinematography is perfect, and the music kind of landed. And then they all create something that elevates the story to the point where you're like, holy crap. But but it's a part of it. And I think of myself more as like what I do is like a craft thing than art. And and I also tell my students the same thing. It's like don't you just got to get good at writing and understanding story and doing this because calling yourself an artist is like a big boulder to bear. It just puts so much crap in front of it. So you know what I mean? It's just shut up and work, and don't get fired, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
Except
that's how I kind of look at it. Anyway.
except making it to those, great achievements, like the Emmys or Grammys, or, things like that. I mean, that's just like a kid's dream come true, right?
Yeah, and if winning them, of course, is great because I have, but I do know that where I was at with the Emmy was the nomination was everything because that's a peer group. Like, so the peers are nominating you. So that meant that the people that I respect and admire and I'm a fan of, heard this and said, this is pretty good, And so I was like, dude, I can die now. And so, that stuff has been definitely a dream come true and it's exciting, but it's not why you're doing this, you're not doing this thinking, well, I'm got to get another, I'm not thinking that way at all. I'm thinking don't fire me, or let's
Mhm.
let's get it right and let's get the story right. But it's been, dude, honestly, man, like some of the shots in this show, some of the scenes I got to score Brie Larson running in slow
Yeah.
motion with a dog having a cathartic moment. I was like, you got to be kidding me, And so for me, that was like that. That's really like the moments when you're personally just because this is where I work anyway. The screen is up here anyway, and
Mhm.
you're just having a moment to yourself. You're like, oh my god, dude, this is nuts. So
Yeah.
anyway.
That's so cool. And so you said you've got a show coming out at Netflix in January. What else are we going to hear from you coming up?
Dude, it has been I have like two more I'm working on something else, but I finished a movie called Ezra that's coming out as and it's I feel like I'm lying because my bucket list has always been Robert De Niro and he's in it. And it's
Yeah.
called Ezra. Bobby Cannavale, who's an amazing actor, Rose Byrne plays his wife and is
Oh
his
yeah,
wife in real
that's
life.
great.
And she's amazing and they're really good in this and they have an autistic kid. So it's a nice personal story, kind of independent film, but I'm very, very proud of it. I think they did a good job and that's coming out at some point. I don't know through Bleecker Street. I think I don't know. I don't know when it's coming out next year, but it's next year. And then I did another Scott Frank thing called Monsieur Spade that's coming out on AMC in January, with Clive Owen playing the role of Sam Spade, like in a retirement years, and he has to come out of retirement and to solve another case, kind of thing. And and then the other thing is Griselda that's coming out also on Netflix at the end of January with Andy Byes direct. The people who did Narcos, Eric Newman and Andy
Yes.
Byes, are
Mhm.
behind it. And Sofia Vergara is, dude, she's awesome in it. And I got to
Yeah.
score that. And again, that was like a unicorn experience because like everything went well. Like the whole journey went great. And I know that's not going to happen again. So, but I'm hopeful. Hopefully, the audience likes it too because it's well made too. It's another well made story. So we'll see.
That's so cool. Well, there sounds like there's a lot to look forward to, but for now, of course, we're going to tell people to check the show out because it's so good and there's so much to talk about, so much going on there, and music's awesome in it. So, of course, we have to let people
Thanks.
know about that. But yeah, definitely appreciate your time and all the great answers, and we definitely got to catch up about some rock and roll sometime soon.
Brother, it would be a thrill, man, because that's my drinking conversation, just like this stuff, especially in the aughts with, the time you were coming up, like that stuff is
Oh
great,
yes.
great,
Hmm.
great music, I think. And the older I get, also, the more I
Hmm.
appreciate the 80s. Because basically people have said that the 80s were the decade that taste forgot, people would say that.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I've learned to really appreciate a couple of really strong bands and music from that time. But anyways, to be continued, man.
Yes, absolutely. Well, next time I'm in Miami, we'll have to go and check out a rock show or just grab a drink, talk music. How about that?
Dude, you can come out to my place because I literally built a bar. So if like my
Perfect.
place isn't like huge, but it has a bar that it shouldn't have in it. Like my
Yeah.
wife should have left me after I built the bar, but it's literally a legit bar. You walk in, I can make a mojito or serve whatever alcoholic thing you want to do, and we can go out and smoke a cigar if you smoke cigars to my
Yeah.
backyard, and we'll hang out and talk all this crap. There would be a thrill. So
Amazing. I'd love that. All right. Well, that sounds wonderful, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the great music. And definitely look forward to
thanks, dude.
catching up again very, very soon.
All right, I'm going to be playing Far Star now. The Far Star. All right, bro. Take
All
care.
right. Thank you so much. We'll see you
See you,
soon.
man.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.